Thanks for staying with us here on The Pulse. Let's start from Parliament, where the minority has accused the Minister of Communications and Digitalization, Samuel George, of rejecting a $150 million investment bid from Redcon Afritel in favor of what they describe as a less transparent Telecel takeover of 18. Ranking member on the Communications Committee, Machi Yindam, told the media the deal was riddled with secrecy, inconsistencies and conflict of interest, warning it could cost Ghana its only wholly owned state communication firm. He said Redcon Afritel's proposed offer was far more than the initial $150 million, which was rejected, and it includes a long-term $1 billion investment plan to expand AT's coverage, modernize infrastructure, and boost 4G and 5G capacity within 5 years. It also promised technological transfer, local job creation, and greater Ghanaian participation in the telecom value chain. Now, despite these terms, the minority maintains that the minister allegedly dismissed the bid and backed the Telecel arrangement worth only $50 million.
George oscillated to a position that AT will be consolidated with Telecel in a merger arrangement. He announced this at a meeting with staff and management of AT in a meeting on the 3rd of September 2025. The minister had announced that KPMG had 28 days left to advise him on the form of Redcon participation in AT. And without any such briefing to Ghanaians, he was announcing a merger with Telecel, a company which has not been able to improve on its own capabilities and also in depth. In this meeting, the minister expressly conveyed an intention to abandon the Redcon deal for a deal with Telecel. He argued that Redcon was only investing $150 million for 5 years, as against a capital of $600 million required to attain competitiveness. I take that place again. He argued that Redcon was only investing $150 million for 5 years against a capital of $600 million required to attain competitiveness, customer market share of at least 28%. This is a facade of a reason, because Redcon promise of $150 million is for the first year with a planned investment of over $1 billion. In a case of Telecel, is bringing on board absolutely nothing. So why will the minister abandon Redcon for Telecel? Ladies and gentlemen, it defies logic and a sound reasoning that the honorable minister, who considered a $50 million network upgrade by Telecel, though the source of funding remains unclear, after the supposed consolidation as sufficient to sustain both companies, you dismiss $150 million initial 1 year investment and up to a total of $1 billion over the next 5 years. Such a position not only lacks consistency, but also raises serious questions about the minister's judgment and underlying motivation behind the decision. The minister also noted on the 3rd September 2025 meeting that was government policy to create a duopoly with the merging of number 2 and number 3 mobile operators to create a competitor against MTN, the number 1 player.
Well, Machi Yindam also accused the Minister of Communications and Digitalization of causing AT to lose some 7 million Ghana cedis in September 2025 over allegedly failing to honor a $5 million payment commitment to the American tower company. The minority said the minister's inaction led to the shutdown of several ATC-operated tower sites nationwide, disrupting AT's network and forcing many customers to temporarily migrate to rival service providers.
American Towers Company, which is ATC, met with American Towers, which is ATC, a service provider to AT, and promised to pay them some $5 million by the end of August 2025 of the alleged $1.5 million owned by AT. $1.5 billion owned by AT. Is it cities? Yes. $1.5 billion owned by cities. I want to take that again. By August 2025, of the alleged $1.5 billion owned by AT, the minister has since failed to honor this promise and now using the Attorney General as a shield. Was the minister not aware of the Attorney General when he made the promise to ATC? Withdrawing some services in line despite desperate attempts to remedy his lack of corporate leadership, Honorable Sam George quickly convened a meeting and directed that AT customers roam on Telecel network starting September 1st. The minister's conduct had led to an estimated loss of 7 million Ghana cedis in revenue to AT in the month of September.
Well, joining us live on Zoom is ranking member on the Communications Committee, Marty Indam. We appreciate your time here on the Pulse. I've just been going through that write-up that you read today in that news conference. And I'm wondering, we heard from Sam George on the 5th of September, if my memory serves me right, tell us that this is not a merger or an acquisition. So what's the basis for these claims?
Well, thank you very much. I hope you can hear me.
Loud and clear.
Yes, I'm grateful. Just like you read from our statement, we want you to know that his initial statement was a merger. And in trying to swallow back his own words, he claimed it was not a merger. But our information clearly tells us that he's made that pronouncement. We all know this story back where we talked about 2018 when these companies decided to merge to form AT. And then at the end of the day, Sam George himself admitted that if it comes to expertise, if it comes to the ability of AT staff to work, the engineering aspect, AT has no problem. The biggest problem of AT is capital injection. And there was a complete blueprint, there was a roadmap that at the end of the day, we need a strategic investor to invest in AT to make it viable. Sam himself holds that opinion. So if you look at our press conference that we had today, it was his own actions that he signed a memorandum of understanding with Rector. And in that memorandum of understanding, he admitted that Rector was looking for 60% and government was also entitled to 40%. And he commissioned KPMG as a financial advisor. So there was no problem at all. Although we are still expecting that Sam will come to Parliament with the details of the transaction that is ongoing. But we realize that he's backtracked. He's backtracked on that kind of road map that he's set for himself. At the back of him promising ATC to fulfill some financial obligations on behalf of AT, because we all know that AT is 100% owned by government. But unfortunately, he's not been able to honor that. And because he's not been able to honor that, AT decided to withdraw some services for ATC decided to withdraw some services on behalf of AT. So because those services were withdrawn, he now directed AT customers to roam on Telecel, which is a very dangerous thing. Very, very dangerous in a sense that most of the customers that are on AT are now forced to abandon AT and go for Telecel. So within a month of September alone, AT lost 7 million Ghana cedis because all consumers are wise. So if I am supposed to be roaming on Telecel, then it's better I just acquire or just migrate my number to Telecel. And that is where the loss came from. But we are calling on Sam this afternoon or in our earlier press conference that, look, you know the problem of AT and you started addressing the problem of AT. Why are you now backtracking?
So if you have concerns about the current dealings, which the minister says is neither a merger or an acquisition, why don't you raise it in Parliament? In Parliament, you can always command him to appear before the committee and make open some of the details that you're raising concerns about.
Well, after we engaging the media, it does not still stop us engaging him on the floor of Parliament or at the committee level.
So you do that when Parliament reconvenes?
Yeah, these are options that we're going to take charge of. We're going to implement them. But
I want you to clarify for me, when the House reconvenes, will you be raising this on the House as the minority?
Yes, we are going to be raising it. We just want you to know that it is not parliamentary. It is not on the floor of Parliament alone that national issues can be dealt with.
And you think that
the media,
a news conference is best for you at this point in time? But another bigger concern you're raising about this dealing with Redcon. What exactly is the minority's interest in that deal?
Our interest is to make sure that at the end of the day, the national assets are used and will be beneficial to you, will be beneficial to me, and will be beneficial to the entire country. Because we have nothing to do with Rectron. We do not have any interest in that deal. Our interest is that we are fully aware that he has engaged KPMG to be a financial advisor to him, Sam George, and to make sure that at the end of the day, Ghanaians get value for money. And Recton is ready to invest $150 million in AT. And if that is done, AT will be on its feet and will become the second.
But that's a concern I have. Very clear, I can get you very clearly. But then if you haven't seen the details of this new force majeure, as the communications minister tell us we should put it that way, how then do you arrive at the conclusion that Recon is offering a better deal?
No, you see, that is why we MG.
Honorable, you may have to position widely. We seem to be losing you intermittently due to connection issues. We're just engaging Machi Indam, a ranking member of Parliament's committee, Communications Committee. They held a news conference today, the minority, raising concerns about this Telecel AT takeover. They have assured us this afternoon on the Pulse that when the House reconvenes, that is something the minority will be taking up. They argue that Redcon's deal is best placed for the nation as we speak because they were offering some 150 million investment bid. And this is in dollars, by the way. And so we're just engaging Machi Indam here on the Pulse just to understand where the minority is coming from. The timing of this news conference has also been questioned, really, because this whole issue came up as far back as September. I remember on the 5th of September, the communications minister held a news conference where he sought to clarify what exactly is happening with Telecel and AT. where he sought to clarify that it is not a merger or an acquisition. And so why did the minority wait this long to have a news conference? Once we reconnect the lines to Machi Yindam, we'll have that conversation here on The Pulse. But away from that, the Minister for Labour, Jobs and Employment, Dr. Abdul Rashid Pelpo, has announced the upcoming launch of the Ghana Labour Market Information System, a digital platform that will host job vacancies from both public and private sectors designed to simplify job searches. The platform will serve as a central hub for nationwide employment opportunities and will be accessible at labour offices across the country. Dr. Pelpo made the announcement at the third annual general meeting of the Health Sector Occupational Pension Scheme, reaffirming the government's commitment to transparency, accessibility and efficiency in Ghana's job market.
The Ghana Labour Market Information System to integrate pensions data into our national labour statistics, to measure retirement readiness and inform future reforms. With the Ghana Labour Market Information System, for many of us who are yet to come to grasp with what it means, it's a technological platform that we are using to put in place all vacancies that exist in this country, in the private sector, in the public sector, for new workforce to go in and be able to extract, apply, and get a job. It involves lots of information about labor and is almost being done now and will be deployed very soon to our labor information sectors throughout the country. So addressing the shortfall in coverage is an important imperative for us. And as we are actively supporting initiatives aimed at actively integrating informal workers, including artisans, traders, farmers, which are going to be included into the voluntary pension schemes, and exploring flexible contributions towards tailored to the fluctuating incomes of the informal sector. The pension scheme in this country, second to the largest, is the health sector scheme. It's so huge.
Well, let's broaden the conversation here on The Pulse. Join me now is Labour consultant Austin Game. We appreciate your time on The Pulse. We're just hearing from government, really, about the launch of this digital platform that will host vacancies from both public and private sectors. From where you sit, will this solve the unemployment issue in this country?
Well, thank you. Thank you. Honestly, it's long overdue. This was to happen some 15 years ago. That is giving a small space after the labor law was passed in 2003. Section 6 of the Labor Act gave a clear-cut direction as to what we should do. And indeed, at that time, the intention was to call it Ghana Bureau of Labor Statistics. Bureau being that this is a specialized department to collect data and distribute the information concerning variety of things, including some of the things the Honorable Minister had just stated. But that said, LI 1833 should be amended because it will carry fees and some levies that employers all over the country, public and private, is an imperative injunction on each and every one to submit to that special department information regarding employment and unemployment, including various other information that will be solicited to enable the country to properly benefit from its decentralization, employment, so that we don't have people traveling, let's say, from Bono region to Accra when they have a place. And the same example I'm giving you current things, We have a big push that the president is driving to enable jobs to be created in construction. You don't need to leave Bono region coming to Accra in search of a job. When this information is available on a national platform, like the minister said, to enable people to access and sort employment wherever. In the districts, it's not going to be limited. This is all over into the district, into the regions. The whole country will be awash with this information, and the details are quite enormous. That is the reason why we hived off the activities of the Department of Labor, call it Chief Labor Officers Department, to enable the Labor Commission to take over that portion so that the Labor Department would have been running the 24-hour economy at that time, because people would have been trained as coders who will be receiving information in 3 shift hour, because they'll have money. They don't need government to generate special money to pay them. There'll be a lot of money to be generated from that. Every quarter, the information will be supplied. It will be keyed in, so people are aware of available jobs, either in the district, in the national center, wherever.
But how will this indeed solve the unemployment problem, especially because there are concerns where individuals say in a country like this, where you get a position based on whom you know, even if this portal is active and I don't have the right connection, I'm most likely not to get the job, is it not?
It's not going to happen like that again. If it is done the way we anticipate. I was in the center of the writing of the law. The intent behind it is very clear. It will take away the thing you are talking about is corruption. Let's name it properly. That corrupt attitude, that unaccountable kind of attitude in the country would have ceased as a result of that. And it's being practiced all over the world. We studied it in both in the Scandinavian, in Japan and America before we came to conclusion to write Section 6 of the labor law, which should have been expanded into LI 1833. When, let's say, NDC lost election, the previous government took over, they did not consult. So they don't know the details. They didn't consult those of us who were in the trenches writing the thing. So they couldn't implement it. Now you have the NDC government back, and the president then was fully aware, and so I think that's what they're activating. And I can tell you on authority that it will eliminate the whom you know matter, because Joy, your station, will be compelled by law to submit to that station employment and unemployment availabilities and unavailable, so that everybody who has to seek employment in Joy don't need to come and see you to hold his hand and send him somewhere. It's supposed not to happen.
Thank you so much, Austin Game, a labor consultant, for your time here on The Pulse. Away from that, the Chief Executive Officer of Gihoc Distilleries Company Limited, Jones Bote, has revealed that the company has been paying nearly 90 workers at its Kumasi branch for the past 10 months, despite no production activity. He said the plant set up to produce bottled water has been idle for almost a year, leaving employees on the payroll while operations remain halted. Describing the situation as alarming, Mr. Bote warned that the continued shutdown is draining the company's already limited resources. He called for urgent measures to revive the facility and resume production to reduce losses and protect jobs. He made these remarks during a visit by members of Parliament's Select Committee on Employment, Labour Relations and Pensions as part of their oversight duties.
I have a whole unit in Kumasi that is supposed to be producing water. They are close to about 90 there. I've been paying them for the past 10 months. They are not producing. Because the machines, when I went to the factory and saw the conditions, I felt they needed to be removed. That it's not in the conditions that I would be operating. That's the whole history, because then my predecessor took a loan to fix it, and that is another whole issue that we can consider.
Well, chairman of the committee, Joseph Appiah-Boateng, said the CEO assured them that steps are being taken to address the challenges at the Kumasi plant. He added that the committee will engage the Ministry of Trade and Industry on the growing influx of imported alcoholic beverages to protect local producers like Gihoc and ensure their sustainability.
So what he's trying to do is that he wants to keep his staff, because he knows that very soon all those machines will be operationalized. So he doesn't have to sack anyone before he brings them back. So he doesn't want to render redundancy. So what he's trying to do is to hold them together. So when the machines, because some of the machines will be ready even today, so that they will start full production. Yeah, I think what the committee, after this, we are going to sit down for progress reports and review where the companies that we visited and see how best we can also do. If we have to talk to trade minister or wherever that is necessary, then we liaise with them so that Gihoc will bounce back and be on its feet.
Well, you're still watching The Pulse. Please stay with us. We'll be back after this quick turn.